In 1930s New York, the skyline had mighty steel, durable stone, and massive rivets. Rivets were huge. Now examine a house under construction nearby today. Instead, new builds feature glued wood scraps, flimsy plastic, and siding that fails fast. You're right, our physical world truly feels increasingly flimsy these days. In 1960, purchasing a house, truck, or tool meant acquiring a true asset. Yet by 2026, you're merely buying a subscription to the local landfill. Through this inquiry, we'll reveal the insidious material betrayal that has gradually hollowed out the American economy. We'll demonstrate exactly how steel gave way to plastic, how invaluable old-growth timber was supplanted by mass-produced, lower-grade lumber, and why the very idea of owning something with heirloom quality has been completely forgotten. This is the detailed breakdown of our disposable age. Chapter 1. Economic decay. Prior to examining the materials, we need to analyze the financial data. Back in 1950, the actual cost of materials accounted for about 40% of any new house or car. You purchased the item's physical makeup. Today, materials constitute under 20% of the total cost. Then, what exactly are you buying? Consequently, your money now covers aggressive marketing efforts, rigorous regulatory compliance, often mandated insurance policies, and, quite significantly, soaring corporate profits. In order to keep the sticker price affordable, even while artificially inflating their own profit margin, manufacturers initiated a war against the materials. Unable to shrink the product's size, they resorted to making it hollow. It's formally known as value engineering. Our term for it is the Great Cheapening. Exhibit A. The framework entering a house built pre-1950, you'll notice the wood looks distinctly different. This wood is dark, quite weighty, and even snaps drill bits. This comes from old-growth trees. Such trees matured gradually within thick forests, competing for sunlight exposure. This process formed dense growth rings, rendering the wood almost as tough as metal and inherently resistant against both decay and insect infestations. A 2x4 plank from 1950 genuinely measured its full advertised dimensions. It served as a solid structural brick. Modern construction now employs farm-grown timber. They're grown in rows, much like fields of corn. They're harvested after just 20 years. Consequently, their growth rings are widely spaced and soft. The wood is saturated with sap and air, resulting in a spongy frame that inherently twists the moment it dries. If you have ever attempted to construct a deck using contemporary lumber, you understand that those boards will contort into a propeller shape in under a week. Now, picture that occurring inside your very walls. Yet, they didn't halt there. They realized genuine wood, even cheap variants, was too costly. So they engineered oriented strand board, taking all the scraps and trash, alongside wood chips, then bonded them with adhesive and compressed them into large sheets. Emergency services refer to this as solidified gasoline because it incinerates in just minutes. To a contractor, it just represents pure efficiency. They effectively swapped a sturdy ironwood framework for a flimsy blend of oatmeal and glue. Once wet, that adhesive dissolves, turning the entire structure into a soggy mess. We are constructing houses designed to be disposable, despite 30-year mortgage commitments. For a century, the benchmark for plumbing was copper. It's intrinsically antimicrobial, completely resilient to sunlight, and impenetrable to rodents seeking to chew through. Should you acquire a home with copper pipes, they'll likely endure for 80 years. However, copper is not cheap, so the sector shifted towards PEX and CPVC, which are essentially plastics. They confidently asserted it was a superior choice. They emphasized its pliable nature. They labeled it the technology of tomorrow. Yet, they conveniently omitted the downsides. They failed to note that should a rat enter your walls, it can easily gnaw through a PEX conduit in under half a minute for water. They omitted that if PEX endures exposure to ultraviolet radiation during its construction, it grows brittle and could rupture a full decade afterward. Plus, they absolutely won't mention chemical leakage when hot water remains in inexpensive plastic tubing for extended periods. The enduring nature of metal was swapped for garden hose convenience, purely to save the builder $200 per unit. Exhibit C, the vehicle's engine. This transformation represents the ultimate insult. When you open the hood of a 1970 Ford or Chevy, you discover a cast iron engine block and an aluminum intake manifold, and a metal radiator. However, upon examining a modern engine, you'll see the intake manifold is plastic, along with the valve covers, and even the oil pan are all plastic. Engineers will argue this aims for weight savings, but that assertion is false. It's truly for cost savings. The cooling system presents the greatest offense. Historically, the water pump featured a metallic impeller, which spun for many decades. Now many producers employ impellers made from plastic. Gradually, hot coolant causes the plastic to become fragile. These small blades can break off inside the engine's core. The engine then overheats and its head gasket fails. A $80,000 vehicle gets wrecked by a mere 50-cent plastic part. The dipstick's demise is also a recent development we're observing. Transmissions formerly featured a metal rod, which permitted quick fluid level inspections within 10 seconds. Presently, these are sealed assemblies. Manufacturers declare it lifetime fluid, but their definition of lifetime actually means the warranty span. As soon as that warranty expires, the fluid quickly deteriorates, the transmission breaks down, and since a dipstick is absent, you are totally unaware. Exhibit D, the computing element. We now turn our attention to the household appliances in your kitchen and laundry space. Decades ago, your grandmother's washing machine typically lasted 3 decades. It made significant noise and visibly vibrated the entire floor. However it performed, its operation was purely mechanical. It employed a tangible timer, complete with gears and springs. Should it break down, one could acquire a $5 component and readily mend it. Currently, your washer functions as a computer designed to get wet. An inexpensive printed circuit board has supplanted the mechanical timer. This susceptible electronic core is positioned in a hot, damp, constantly vibrating setting. This setup virtually guarantees failure. The board's capacitors often bulge, then inevitably rupture. Constant vibration causes solder points to fracture. When the board inevitably fails, simply swapping out a capacitor isn't an option. You must swap out the complete computer module, an expense of $300. However, the critical flaw lies in the sealed bearing. Old machines featured greasable bearings. New machines have them sealed inside a plastic tub. If the bearing fails, it's irreparable. You're simply forced to discard the whole machine. This explains why 5-year-old Samsung and LG units accumulate in landfills, while 40-year-old Maytag appliances continue operating reliably in basements. Exhibit E, the exterior finish. Finally, we need to discuss the deceptive nature of quality. Modern manufacturing has perfected the skill of making cheap materials appear costly. Observe the chrome finish on a contemporary truck. Once, chrome comprised a metallic coating electroplated onto steel. It possessed a considerable weight and was noticeably cool, but currently it's just vacuum metallized plastic. What you see is a thin sheet of glossy foil, coated onto a piece of shaped plastic. Merely 3 years under the sun, it bubbles then peels, uncovering the plain gray plastic beneath. Next, observe the leather in your car. Unless you're investing in a luxury vehicle with a 6-figure price tag, it's simply not real leather. It is bonded leather or vinyl. This material comprises leather particles mixed with an adhesive, colored to appear just like genuine hide. Instead of improving with age, it simply deteriorates. It will typically crack and peel, something that real leather would never experience. Wood. Now check out your bathroom faucets. They might seem like brushed nickel, yet when you lift one, it feels nothing. This item is plastic, covered in a metallic coating. The internal valves are plastic cartridges, which quickly fail in just a few years. Older faucets, conversely, incorporated brass valves along with rubber washers. These were designed to be rebuilt indefinitely. Today's faucets are intended for disposal once they start dripping. Why is this strategy employed? Why has our entire economy transitioned from focusing on longevity to embracing disposability? It's not for a lack of ability to construct it more effectively. We possess superior material science now compared to 50 years ago. For instance, we could create a refrigerator capable of enduring for a century. Similarly, a truck could be manufactured to last 1,000,000 miles. This is done due to what's called the velocity of money. Should a metal component endure for 5 decades, it proves detrimental to commerce. You would never need to purchase a substitute. Conversely, if a plastic component endures for only 5 years, that's ideal. Malfunctions right as you finish paying off its loan, compelling you to return to the dealership for a new one. They have deliberately removed the durability from products solely to boost the speed at which your money departs your wallet. This outlines the phenomenon known as planned obsolescence. Purchase, damage, substitute, redo. This is the final judgment. Our existence is within a cardboard reality, merely adorned to appear like granite. It's referred to as modernization, but we define it by its true nature: deterioration. The fact that your grandfather's tools function while your recent purchases are already broken isn't a matter of nostalgia. The reason is physics. What exactly should one do? Simply reject new products, preserve your aged possessions, repair your copper parts, maintain your cast iron items, treat the existing timber with oil. And when purchasing becomes essential, seek out the brands showcased and recommended on this very channel. Those manufacturers who still utilize metal, ones still employing bolts as opposed to glue. Because within a world constructed for eventual decay, embracing durability becomes the ultimate act of defiance.